She's back in the kitchen making a mess as per usual, but it's all gonna be worth it because today I'm gonna be taste testing 5 different TikTok viral recipes to let you know if they're actually good or not. Today's video is brought to us all by Skillshare. More on them in just a minute. I kind of mixed in viral recipes with kind of restaurant recipe dupes all in one video, and y'all know me, there are a couple of weird ones. I was scrolling through TikTok and I saw a recipe for a Southwestern egg roll dupe, and I never dreamed that there could be a day where I could even make Chili's Southwest egg rolls in my house, but the day has come. I went to go chop my onion for this recipe and it was legit rotten. So I wasn't able to make this recipe with onions, which I think is an important part of the recipe. So you're gonna start by adding some olive oil to the pan on medium heat. Then you're gonna toss in your onions if you have them, red peppers, green peppers, and chopped jalapenos, and you're gonna let those cook and soften for about 10 minutes or so. I didn't have onions, like I said, so I cheated and added onion powder to try and make up for the flavor. Now, once all that has cooked down, I added 1 can of black beans drained and a hefty amount of frozen sweet corn. You're gonna let that simmer for about 5 to 10 minutes, and then you're gonna toss in some sweet paprika, some smoked paprika, and then a little salt and pepper. Then you're gonna toss in fresh shredded pepper jack and Monterey Jack cheeses, and that really completes the mixture. Next is assembly time. This was the hardest part because you have to find that perfect balance between too much filling and not enough filling. I also ordered toothpicks to hold these together, but these massive skewers came instead, which I think made this even more complicated than it should have been, but we have to work with what we have here. Get your oil piping hot, and then you're gonna use your tongs to place your little rolls slowly into the pan. Be very careful with this. And then once they're in there, it doesn't take too long for them to cook, maybe about a minute or so for each side to brown. So keep an eye on it and make sure you don't burn them. Then you're gonna cut them into the Southwest egg roll slices. I mean, look at these stunners, you guys. I ended up just going with the spicy mayo that I got from the grocery store as the dip. Guys, it looks exactly like the Southwestern egg rolls. Ah, look at her. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Y'all, this, wow, that is spicy. This is the most delicious thing I've ever made. This tastes exactly like Chili's Southwestern egg rolls. This is impeccable. This is artistry. And it's also like sort of healthy-ish. I did fry it in olive oil, so like it's good for me, right? I just need a moment. I'm gonna have another bite, but I have to really prepare myself so I do not cry. Because you guys know food does get me all emotional. I feel like an Enya song is playing in the background. Sail away, sail away, sail away. Boop, boop. We have to talk about these next because they look too good to sit here any longer. When I saw this recipe, I had a spiritual awakening. It was like an encounter with God. I don't know what these are called. These are like little pizza poppers. These are so simple. You're gonna get those pre-made biscuits from the grocery store. You know them, you love them, and you're gonna chop them into 6s. And then you're gonna take a large mixing bowl, add those to the bowl, and then drizzle it with a dash of olive oil. Next, you're gonna finely chop some fresh basil and toss that into your bowl along with chopped up pepperonis and some fresh shredded mozzarella cheese. You're gonna mix that together, and then you're gonna spray your muffin pans with a non-stick spray and fill each of the cups about 3/4 of the way full with your mixture. And then you're just gonna pop them into the oven at 350 degrees for about 10 to 15 minutes until they're golden brown. Okay, here she is. She's beautiful, she's snackable, she's packable, and she's smackable. Someone stop me immediately. Ooh, this is yum. Oh, what am I didn't even do it right. I'm supposed to dip it. All right, I have my pizza sauce. I don't even think it's needed, honestly. The pizza sauce overpowers the flavor, but this is a little dry, so you want something a little more wet. But this might be too powerful. I like the flavor, but I like the moisture. Maybe I just need to find the right pizza sauce, or maybe I should just use more cheese with this, or make it cheese sauce for you. Just go big on the ingredients. I love the taste of like a biscuit, so good, but I could have gone 50% harder. Speaking of restaurant dupes, I stumbled upon this woman who was basically taking very large pieces of pasta, rolling it in cinnamon sugar topping, and calling it like a dupe for Taco Bell's cinnamon twist. So I'm like, oh, that could be fun to make at home for like the kids or just for yourself. Just you and a glass of wine and some cinnamon nudes. What else could you want on a Friday night? The woman I saw on TikTok baked hers, but I also did half of this group fried as well to see if I liked one better than the other.
Your first step is to boil your pasta al dente according to the package instructions. Then you're gonna add a dash of salt to them before putting them into the oven at about 350 degrees for 10 minutes at a time. You're gonna take them out about every 10 minutes and stir them up until they are crispy and brown. Then you're gonna make your sugar and cinnamon seasoning. I actually just eyeballed this and my eyes nailed it, if I do say so myself. I think the ratio is about 2 to 1 sugar to cinnamon. I also used half granulated sugar and half baking sugar. Just use whatever you have and whatever's easiest. For the fried version, I used the same olive oil for the egg rolls, and then I tossed in some al dente noodles and waited until they almost looked blistery. This happens really fast, so don't walk away. Next, I mixed all the shells into the cinnamon sugar mix, gave it a good toss, and that is it. It's simple as that. It was easy, it was cheap to make.
They've been sitting here for a minute. I will say, fresh out of the pan, out of the oven, they looked a lot better. So this is one of those things I think you're gonna have to eat immediately. Let's start with the fried option first. I like it, but I don't love it. It's good enough to make the basketball team, but it's not good enough to really play in the game yet. Coming from someone who played JV. I'm much better at food sports. Send me in, coach. I'm ready for a snack. All right, so let's try the baked version. I liked the baked version way better than the fried version. Have I been out of the South for too long, y'all? Is the South getting taken out of the girl? I feel like the baked ones, the crunch was preserved. I feel like the fried version, it got like soggy hard. And I hate soggy hard. I want it soggy or I want it hard. But if you're actually craving like a cinnamon twist, like just go to Taco Bell and order it yourself. Thank you so much to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. They're an online learning community where you can take thousands of classes that not only teach you something, but also inspire you as well. I love learning new things. I'm always trying to figure out how to do something on my own without having to hire someone. And whether you're DIYing furniture or you're trying to cook something to look impressive or taste impressive, which is the most important part, there's really something for everyone on Skillshare. They have experts teaching you all of the fundamentals step by step in small learning segments so that you're not overwhelmed with material and information and you really can digest and learn on your own time as you go.
So I'm currently taking a class on interior design that's helping me figure out kind of what materials and patterns and textures to look for while I'm designing our desert house. This class by Emily Henderson has really been a great place to start if you're looking into interior design. She has a module with this quiz on it so you can figure out which design style that you gravitate towards.
So the first 1,000 viewers who use my specific link to sign up for Skillshare, you're gonna get an entire month free of Skillshare so you can start exploring your own creativity today. So this is a viral sandwich making hack. This is a breakfast sandwich that I have seen many people tackle on TikTok, and I failed miserably.
This is so bad.
But I think I know how I failed, so I'm gonna teach you what I did wrong.
My first mistake was mixing too many eggs for this recipe. I did 4, so just scramble up 2 eggs. Then you're gonna slice tomatoes, avocado, lettuce, and cheddar cheese and assemble them on a separate plate for easy access. In a pan, you coat liberally with nonstick spray, which is very important. Add your eggs first, and then your cheese slices, and then your bread. Then while that cooks, you're gonna sprinkle with some sesame seeds for a little crunch. Once that sits for a minute or two, the goal would be to flip this concoction over. As you can see, she made a big ol' mess. Once flipped, then you're gonna add your tomato to one side and your avocado to the other side, and you're gonna top both sides with lettuce and more cheese. And you're supposed to flip that onto itself and have some glamorous food fantasy, but this couldn't have looked worse. This is a major fail.
Now I had to cook this a second time in order to get it right. My first mistake is my bread was too big, I think. I think if I had more of this smaller sandwich size bread, it would be easier to flip. Another big tip is to use a non-stick pan. Oof, that's juicy, yuck. It's too early for juicy. There's like a time of day when juicy is an acceptable experience, and it is not first thing in the morning. Oh, for all the work that I put into this. I wanted this to be better. This isn't worth it. If someone made this for me and I was a guest at their house, I would eat it and be grateful. But I'm never gonna make this sandwich ever again in my life. This next recipe is not anything that you're expecting. This is really the weirdest one of the group. There was a girl on TikTok who talked about doing a kind of weekly cleanse drink that's supposed to help you become more regular, help you decrease your inflammation in your body, which you guys know I have an autoimmune disease, which is inflammation is the key culprit for me. So I'm like, I wonder if this might actually help me and or if it tastes weird, because it looks like it would taste weird. It is filtered water, 2 tablespoons of chia seeds. So these are going to swell up and get smushy and goobly. And she also squeezes a little bit of lemon into the water. She lets it sit for 10 minutes for the chia seeds to swell up and get smushy. In the meantime, I think we should do a little fondue moment together. What do you guys say? The answer is always yes. If you don't follow Babs on TikTok, you're missing out. I will link to all of these TikToks down below if you want to see the originals. Babs is like a mom chef and she has all these amazing hacks and recipes. She put out an easy fondue recipe, and y'all, I can't say no to cheese. Even when it says no to me, I think I'm in an unhealthy relationship with dairy.
The ingredients are simple, but you really should make sure they're high quality for the highest amount of deliciousness. First, you're gonna get yourself some baguettes, slice them into easy to eat and grab pieces, and then you're gonna carve out small holes in the center of each of them with a knife, but don't go all the way through, just go about halfway through. Then on medium heat, you're gonna rub a clove of garlic all around the bottom of your pot for flavor. Then this is the most important part, you're gonna shred the highest quality Gruyere and Swiss cheese that you can find. Do not use pre-shredded cheeses from the grocery store. Shred the blocks manually yourself. I promise it makes a huge difference in flavor. Then you're gonna add a splash of white wine, juice half a lemon, and my favorite part, start folding in the cheese. You just fold it, David. It's a little Schitt's Creek reference for some of you out there. And you just combine this until all of your cheese has mixed together and it smells and looks amazing.
I've never had fondue in my life. Like, I think I've dipped a strawberry in chocolate one time, but I don't think I've ever had cheese fondue. And I've always wondered if it's really good or if it's just something that rich people do because it's fancy, but not because it tastes good. You know what I mean? In my head, cheese, you can't go wrong with melted cheese. Unless you have some sort of dairy flare up like I do, clearly. Oh yeah. I actually feel like it would be exponentially better if you had toasted sourdough. The flavor is really interesting. It does taste like beer. I think that's the alcohol in the wine, but it has like an interesting flavor. It has like a sour, a little bit of a stinky feet vibe. And if you like that, you're gonna love it. It's so visceral. I love that about it. Okay, 10 minutes has passed, and let me just tell you, man, this looks like one of the worst things I've ever made. It looks like something that has been sitting on your counter for like 2 months that you haven't washed out, and the mold has grown so much that you just have to throw the cup away at this point because it's so disgusting. So this girl says that when you drink this a couple of hours later, things get moving, which, you know, I have no issue with already with the random stuff I put in my body. I'm so skeptical. We can do it, we can do it. Oh my gosh, it's the texture. It tastes slimy. It has structure to it, but not too much. And then it's coated in slime. There are very few things in the world that simulate this texture, and none of them are things that I want in my mouth. So maybe I should just eat the chia seeds. Can I just eat them? Oh my God. The flavor's fine. It kind of just tastes like lemon water. I would do it every day if it made me feel better, but today is not that day. I feel like TikTok mostly doesn't lead me astray. I feel like most of the time everything I see on there is pretty good. So if you guys keep liking these videos, subscribe to my channel, let me know in the comments. I will continue to do more of them. Don't forget to check out Skillshare. Again, I will link them down below. Thank you for sponsoring Skillshare. And if you're looking to learn something new, whether it's in the kitchen or anywhere in life, really, check them out.